Hey guys, it's Max. In this video, I'm talking about the 5 downsides or problems with the brand new Sony A7R2. This camera came out about a week ago. I got it right at launch with overnight shipping. I've been using it ever since. I've been doing different testing, comparing it to cameras, comparing the modes inside of it. And I've also used it at a wedding last Sunday, so a couple days ago, doing photography. I'm also going to be using it on a video shoot today, and this weekend I'm going to be using it at 2 weddings, one on Friday and one on Sunday. That is for video. So I've used it quite a bit already. I'm going to be using it even more so. So if you want to see my full review, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys could check that out. Now this video is just meant to let you guys know my thoughts, my downsides of this camera. Each camera has its downsides. It doesn't mean it's a bad camera, because then there'd be no good cameras at all. And in fact, this camera is actually a great camera overall. I've really enjoyed using it for photos for the previous wedding I did. It's awesome having a full frame sensor that high of a resolution in this size, this package, so that's great. But in this video, I'm sharing the downsides of this camera, at least what I've seen so far. So let's get into it. Number 1 is the screen on the back. Now the screen is a flip out screen, so you can kind of change the angle slightly if you're looking from above or from below to kind of help out with that. But the issue that I'm having with this screen is, one, the quality of it, maybe the resolution of it, and also the fact that it's not a touchscreen. So as far as quality, it's not bad. I would say it's similar to the GH4. Of course, that's a $1,500 camera. The actual resolution, the crispness, it isn't there. Maybe I'm just too used to the NX1. I have 2 Samsung NX1s, and the screen on there is absolutely beautiful, really crisp, makes it really easy to use manual focus, and everything just looks really great. And also outside, that screen does really well in the sunlight. I had more of an issue with the screen on here. Shooting video with the NX1, I typically don't have to use the viewfinder. The screen it still does a good job. Even in the sunlight. With this guy, I found it quite often that I had to use the viewfinder because the screen just wasn't bright enough, didn't look good enough for me to be able to expose my shots and to be able to focus. So it almost seems like the EVF is a higher quality than the actual screen on the back. So another big thing is touchscreen. Now back in the day, none of the pro level cameras had touchscreen functionality, and it wasn't an issue. But now that most of the cameras are coming out with touchscreens, it's so awesome to have that. And coming to a camera like this, especially for the price $3,200, not having one, I think there's just no excuse for why Sony didn't include a touchscreen. The NX1 has one, the GH4 has one, and when you have a camera that's smaller, it's more compact, you have less buttons, it just makes it so much easier to be able to touch exactly what you want. It speeds everything up. So I really wish they would have done, especially if you're using autofocus in video, you could just tap on what you want to do. You could do like rack focusing, different things like that. So that's another downside for this camera. I really wish they would have included one. They should have included one for the price tag of $3,200. Number 2 is 4K video quality. Now the video quality is not bad, you can't call it bad, but it's not great. For my testing, both the GH4 and the NX1 are more detailed in the full frame mode. So if you want to use the full sensor and you want to get that full frame look, you have to use the full frame mode. Obviously, that's the benefit of having a full frame sensor. But in that mode, it actually does not use all the pixels. It throws away information, and because of that, the actual video quality is less detailed. So what Sony says is to use the Super 35 mode. They keep pushing people to Super 35 mode. But the thing is, you're buying a full frame camera for a reason. You want to have the full frame look. If you're not going to use the full frame functionality, basically, at least this is my opinion, why not go with a Samsung NX1 or a GH4 with the Speed Booster XL, gives you a Super 35 equivalent. So that's a downside. So if you want optimal image quality, you have to use crop sensor mode. So it's basically giving you a crop sensor that you're using. And even then, using the crop sensor, the NX1's video still looks more detailed. If you're comparing close-ups, which I have a video on my channel for both Super 35 compared to the full frame of this camera, as well as another video comparing the full frame to the GH4 and the NX1 video quality, check those out. But when you're comparing the Super 35 mode to the full frame mode, it is more detailed, but I notice it more on close-ups when you have lots of fine detail. On more wider shots you guys might see on that video, it's not that much of a difference. So a camera that costs this much, if your main goal is the 4K video, I think that is a bit of a disappointment. Number 3 is the menu system. Now, I already knew going into this that the menu is not going to be that great. Sony just really, I don't know if they don't want to improve it or they can't, they don't have the ability to, but the menu system, it's really difficult to learn it. And some of the stuff does not seem like it's organized very well. So for example, the Super 35 mode, it took me a while to find it. It's in the little gear, the settings, and it's on page 6. Now, it would make sense for that to be in the same section where you select your video format, your quality, something like that, but it's not. So the whole menu system, it takes a while to learn, and it's a lot more difficult even compared to the GH4, especially compared to the NX1 where anybody could pick it up. You still have access to all your settings, but Samsung just does a great job laying it out. Now, along with the menu system, once again, I'm going to talk about not having that touchscreen. This is another area where Sony would have greatly improved the experience. If there was a touchscreen, you could just literally touch on the number you want. If you want to skip through something, if you know what you want to access, where it's at, once you learn all that, then you can switch to your playback, to your settings, without having to scroll through everything. So that's definitely a downside to me. It takes much longer to learn where everything's at, and then even when you know where everything's at, it takes much longer to use compared to, say, a GH4 or a Samsung NX1. Number 4 is battery life. Now, this is something else that I knew getting into this camera. Because you have such a small body, you can't fit a large battery in here. So it uses the same batteries as all the other A7 mirrorless cameras. And as far as photos, it's rated for about 290 photographs before you need to swap it out. Now, that's nothing compared to other cameras, larger size cameras. Now, if you put in airplane mode, you will get a little bit better battery life, so I definitely suggest that if you're out shooting a wedding like I was, that will help you out, increase your battery life. Now, talking about video, I got just under an hour shooting 4K video and having the in-body image stabilization enabled, which you're going to want to use. So comparing that to an NX1, the NX1 gets almost 2 hours battery life shooting in 4K, and the GH4 of course has that legendary 4-hour battery life. So if you have a full day shoot, you're going to need a lot of these little batteries. If you're buying the genuine Sony ones, I think they're about 50 bucks a pop. Of course, you can get the battery grip, which will allow you to use 2 batteries. It'll be a little bit more convenient to swap those out because it uses the one in the grip first. So definitely pick up one of those if you need better battery life. One thing to note, thankfully, Sony did include 2 of these batteries in the A7R2 kit. So that's definitely a bonus being this small and paying $3,200 for this camera. Number 5, and the last thing I'm going to mention, is the autofocus during video. Now, it's definitely not bad. It is an improvement over their previous cameras. In fact, the photo autofocus is quite improved over the last generation of the A7 cameras, but it's still not great. It still does hunt sometimes. It's not very smooth from what I've noticed using the 55 1.8 as well as the 28 f2 Sony lenses, and it does not compare with the NX1. It is on par, maybe similar to GH4, maybe slightly better, I would say, but it's not something that I would rely on compared to the NX1, which I can use the video autofocus most of the time. So this is still not perfect, of course. The camera can't read your mind, but the NX1 does a fantastic job. This guy, though, we wish it was a little bit better. They were definitely stating that they have the phase detection, improved autofocus, and they have improved it, but it's still not there. So if that's something that's very important for you, definitely take that into consideration. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully it was insightful, it was helpful, or something else in the positive. Before you guys comment below and calling me a hater, I don't know what I'm talking about, stuff like that, do note this video is specifically about the downsides for those people that do want to know. Of course, every camera does have its downsides. I will be having a full review coming up, so make sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on that. I am taking on a video shoot today, couple weddings this weekend, shooting video, so I'm gonna to spend some more time with it before I give my final opinion overall on the camera and if it's worth it. So I don't want to miss out on that. Hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, you guys can ask in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer those. And if you guys want to follow me at Max Camera Deals on Twitter, basically I share the best daily deals from all the camera stores, so you guys don't miss out on those. You'll get them in your Twitter feed. If you're interested, you guys could check those out as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.